Part 2 of Moving at the Speed of Plot. So to catch everyone up, in Part 1 I talked about the Fairfolk, a species in Exalted that moved at the speed of plot. Which is to say they didn't measure their speed in feet per second or something like that. They measured their speed in how quickly they can get from one significant story point to the next. And this applies really well when you apply it to insane anime characters that can do stuff like run 1,000 universes in a day. If nothing interesting happens in any of those universes, they run one waypoint per day. So the Fairfolk are fundamentally not governed by the rules of reality. So how do you kill them? How do you kill something that can be stronger than the strongest being, or bigger than a universe, or faster than lightning? So the Fairfolk were made up of these essence pools. Essence in Exalted was just the stuff reality was made from. For people, for normal stuff, essence came together and then eventually created quarks and created atoms, and we were made of stuff as we know it. But for Fairfolk, essence comes together and creates concepts, and these concept pools are what we call virtues. I won't go into the whole system, but you know how we're made up of atoms of carbon and water and stuff like that? The quote-unquote atoms that make up a Fairfolk are concepts like strongest in the world, or bigger than a universe, or something like that. Of course, not every Fairfolk wants to be that huge or grand. Some have building blocks that are the lover to this person, or something like that. And the essence pools filled with these story elements act kind of like their organs. In Exalted, you had stats that allowed you to perform normal physical feats like punch stuff and run fast, but you also had stats that allowed you to attack essence and attack with your own essence. So if you did damage to the essence pool that governed a Fairfolk being bigger than a universe and able to take any hit, you would punch this creature that is bigger than the universe in the face and make it bleed. It wouldn't actually matter if you were a weakling yourself, or if you were just a small-town hero. If you had the capability to damage essence, you'd still make it bleed. And that's because the effect, punching a universe-sized monster, is actually secondary. What you're really doing is damaging its essence pool. So if you had a creature that could run thousands of universes a day, and you damaged the essence pool that governed that, you can race it and possibly win. This was a system developed to explain why certain characters could destroy universes in 1 second and get felled by a simple punch the next second. It's because dealing damage to reality and dealing damage to essence were kind of two different scales. If you had a high capacity for dealing damage to essence, you could kill a universe-large monster. But if you had high capacity for dealing damage to essence and low capacity for dealing actual damage in reality, some dude in a bar can knock you out. If you apply this to certain stories, this would explain why Batman can beat omniversal beings like Darkseid but take a bullet from Penguin and end up in the hospital. Or why Squirrel Girl, someone with the power to control squirrels, can defeat Galactus.